Hi guys, it's Stock Curry, and today you are going to get every single stock pick from the top 10 YouTubers from the entire past 3 days. It's Friday stock picks, Saturday stock picks, and Sunday stock picks in one video. I analyzed over 30 different stocks, and I've got them for you right now. First, I just want to say congratulations to Larry Jones. I'm so happy to see him back. He went through surgery and he is recovering well. And so if any of you guys are the kind of people who pray, I just encourage you to pray for Larry Jones and his continued recovery. He finally uploaded a video this weekend, so I'm so happy to see that he is doing well. Also, I just wanted to let you guys know that Trey's Trades has started to discuss stocks other than AMC, which makes me so happy because he really is really good at DD, and we are going to get the chance to learn about some new stocks today because of Trey's Trades. Finally, I just want to remind you that the Webull transfer promotion ends this week. So if you've been thinking about transferring your stocks from another broker over to Webull, let's say you're just tired of Robinhood, you want access to the full trading day from 4 a.m. till 8 p.m. Eastern, and you want to transfer your stocks to Webull, Webull is doing a transfer promotion right now where so long as you transfer at least $800 from another broker, one, they reimburse your transfer fee. So if Robinhood, for example, charges you a $75 transfer fee, once your stocks get over into Webull, Webull is going to put $75 back into your account to reimburse you. Second thing they're going to do is give you free level 2 data for 3 months. And then the other thing they're going to do is they're going to give you up to 25 free stocks. So you get one free stock just for opening the account. You get a second free stock for depositing $100. Those two stocks alone are worth up to $1,850. Of course, anybody can take advantage of that, whether you transfer an account or not. And then in addition to that, for those who do transfer, so long as you transfer at least $2,000, you're going to get 5 additional free stocks worth between $45,000 and $8,000. If you transfer at least $10,000, you get 10 free stocks worth between $90 and $16,000. And if you transfer $25,000 or more, you're going to get 25 free stocks worth between $225 and $40,000. This is by far the best promotion I have ever seen Webull do. All right. For those of you guys who are new to this channel, my name is Stock Curry. I used to work as an analyst for some large investment banks, and now I analyze stock picks on YouTube. Every single day, I watch hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos so that you don't have to. All you have to do is watch one video each day, and you will get every single stock pick from the top 10 YouTubers. And all I ask in return is that you hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so that you can get notified when I release my next video. In fact, I'll give you 5 seconds to do that right now. All right, before we get into today's stock picks, I just want to remind everyone that I am not a financial advisor and none of the YouTubers I follow are financial advisors either. Today's video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who are wondering, you are currently looking at the Webull desktop app. Webull is the app that I use for my trading, and it is also the app that I use in all of my videos. If you want to take advantage of the Webull transfer promotion, just use my link in the description below to get that offer. Okay, let's get into today's stock picks. First up is ACB. This is Aurora Cannabis, and they're an MMJ stock. Chris Zane included ACB in his Easy Money Plays this week. Now, I had to look at the fundamentals for ACB because the last time I looked at this company a few years ago, its financials were terrible. And so I took another look today, and guess what? The financials have changed dramatically. They've gotten much, much worse. OMG! ACB's net income dropped 1,000% year over year last quarter. And despite a massive share offering last quarter, they only had 2 months of operating expenses left in cash. And now they're doing another $1 billion share offering, which amazingly is barely enough cash to get them through another year at their current cash burn rate. ACB is literally losing nearly $1 billion a year. This stock is dropping in value so fast, they had to do a 1-for-12 reverse stock split less than a year ago just to remain NYSE listed. I don't know what Chris Zane sees in ACB. The only easy money play on ACB is going long with put options. Next up is AMC. This is AMC Movie Theaters. In my video that I uploaded early Friday morning, I showed you the options contracts and said that the market makers would try very hard to get AMC to close at either $13 or $14. And that is exactly what happened. You can see that early in the morning they tried to push the price down to $13 where they would make the most amount of money, but they were unsuccessful. They then kept the price right at $14 for the entire day. Now, I could tell from the comments in my last video that some of you do not understand the role that market makers have. Market makers have a duty to keep the order flow going. That is true on both stocks and options. When you have a lot of options buyers, but not enough options sellers, market makers are required to step in and write options contracts and sell those options contracts in order to fill the buy orders. The market makers will then take advantage of the bid-ask spread to buy those options contracts for a profit. Now, what's important to understand is that a market maker is not required to close out their positions. They can, if they so choose, keep their options contracts through expiration, and that is what happened with AMC. There were so many retail investors buying call options and not enough selling that the market makers just decided to keep the contracts they wrote. And to ensure that they made money on those contracts, they needed to keep the price at or below $14. $13 would have been preferred for them, but $14 worked as well. By keeping the price at or below $14, tens of thousands of options contracts expired worthless, which allowed market makers to make a massive profit on all of the options contracts they wrote. If you want to see this recorded live as it happened, you can watch Trey's Trade's 14-minute video that he uploaded Friday. Now, looking forward to this week, the March options contracts have expired, so we should get back to normal price movements, and AMC will be able to run to its true market value this week. Given the artificial downward pressure on the stock last week, I do expect to see significant bullish movement on AMC this week as market makers close out the short positions they opened last week and new retail investors move in with freshly deposited stimulus checks. Chris Zane included AMC in his Easy Money Plays list, and for good reason. AMC could moon this week. Trey's Trades also uploaded a video on Sunday where he discussed why AMC is not short squeezed yet. Just keep in mind that AMC only has a short interest of 25%, and typically we are looking for a short interest greater than 30% when we're looking for a stock that might short squeeze. Now, Trey's Trades also uploaded a short live stream Saturday evening that covered the shareholders' votes that are upcoming on May 4th. Most of them are normal votes, such as electing board of directors members and voting on executive compensations. However, there is one vote for approving a 500 million share stock dilution, which will double the number of shares outstanding. Typically, when companies dilute shares, they are increasing the number of shares available so that they can do more stock offerings and raise more capital. If approved, that will decrease shareholder value, making your shares worth half of what they are today. But it will also boost the company's financials. So if you currently hold AMC shares, make sure you go watch Trey's Trades video that he uploaded Saturday evening where he discusses AMC's upcoming votes on May 4th. Next up is AMRS. Smart Trader likes AMRS for a short-term technical trade. He has a $30 price target going into AMRS's next earnings. While we do have strong momentum on AMRS, I'm concerned about how high the MACD is on this stock, and the fact that the MACD looks like it's wanting to turn bearish. So I think you can probably buy AMRS for a lower price than where it's at now. I'm going to give you a buy-enter price of $20, and an ideal buy-in price of $19, and a stop-loss price of $18. That means you should be buying AMRS between the 21-day and 50-day EMAs, and selling if it drops below the 50-day EMA. Next up is APXT. This is a SPAC, and they're merging with AvePoint, which is a data management company that is specifically focused on the Microsoft Cloud. Chris Zane said this is a buying opportunity if you don't already have it. APXT is currently sitting at the 200-day EMA, and because this is a SPAC, it has a $10 floor. So this is a stock with a lot of upside potential and very little downside risk. Next up is BLNK. This is Blink, and they're an EV charging station company. Zip Trader reminded us about BLNK today. He reminded us that BLNK is a leader in charging stations, and he thinks it's at a good price right now. They also have earnings coming up on Thursday, which could be a potential upward catalyst. Amongst the EV charging station companies that are publicly traded, Zip Trader ranked BLNK number 1, CLII, the SPAC that is bringing EVgo public, as number 2, and CHPT, ChargePoint, as number 3. Next up is BNGO. This is Bio-Nanogenomics, and Keen and Grace let us know that earnings are coming up on Tuesday. This is a really important earnings call because this is where we'll find out how well their Sapphire machine is selling. Keen and Grace also let us know that Kevin DeGeeter, a 5-star rated analyst, gave BNGO a $15 price target a few days ago. Keen and Grace gave a buy-enter price of $9. Now ZipTrader also mentioned BNGO, and he said BNGO was one of ARK's plays. But I checked lucidtracking.com and I can see that ARK Invest has not yet purchased BNGO. So I'm not sure what ZipTrader was talking about. He may have just misspoke. By the way, if you want to see what ARK Invest is buying and selling, I have a link to lucidtracking.com in the description of this video. It's free to create an account, just request membership, and you should get access the next day. Next up is CCIV. This is a SPAC and they're merging with Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors is an American EV company and a competitor to Tesla. The merger is supposed to happen sometime between April and June of this year. Keen and Grace let us know about an article that was released on Investor Place where they gave CCIV a $100 price target by the end of next year. Their reasoning focused on the demand for EVs, tax credits expected from Democrats, and an experienced management team. If CCIV hits that price target, then you could potentially quadruple your money in less than 2 years. And since CCIV's price has dropped since they announced a delay in their deliveries, now makes a great time to buy CCIV. StockMo thinks CCIV has the most upside potential amongst all of the EV stocks. Technically, the price stopped dropping when it hit the 50-day EMA on Friday, so hopefully it'll rebound and start going back up from here. If it doesn't rebound, it'll be at Keen and Grace's buy-in price of $25 and maybe even down to my ideal buy-in price of $22.50. Next up is CHPT. This is ChargePoint, and Chris Zane showed us that CHPT is currently 50% off of its all-time high. So there is the potential for this stock to double. Chris Zane gave a buy-in price of $25, but I'm actually going to do something unusual and make $25 the minimum buy-in price. What does that mean? That means do not buy CHPT until the price gets above $25. Why is that? Because even though the RSI is nearing oversold, the MACD is still bearish. And more importantly, $24.67 is a strong level of resistance on CHPT. If CHPT can close above $24.67, then $24.67 will become a new level of support. And once that happens, CHPT should not drop back down below $24.67 again. So $24.67 is the bottom price where we can be confident that a new bull run has started. But of course, sometimes stocks temporarily get above that price, but they don't stay there. So look for CHPT to close above $25 and not just temporarily reach that price. Once CHPT closes above $25, you can buy in and potentially double your money within a few months. The reason you do not want to buy now is because if $24.67 remains a level of resistance, then CHPT could keep dropping and we have no idea how low it will go. Next up is CLOV. This is Clover Health and this is a Medicare Advantage provider. Dead Inside said he is still holding CLOV despite being down 34% on this company. I will let you know that I also hold CLOV, and my holding has been down quite a bit also. However, one thing I did was I sold covered calls. That significantly reduced my losses on CLOV. Right now, I own 200 shares of CLOV with an average price of $9.93. As of Friday's close, I was down $288.50 or 14.52% on my stock. However, I sold two March 19th $10 covered calls for a total of $100. Those covered calls expired worthless on Friday, which means I get to keep the $100 I received for selling them. So if you take my $288.50 loss in CLOV and subtract the $100 profit I made by selling covered calls, my net loss on CLOV is only $188, which means my net loss is only 9.49%. So had I only bought the shares and done nothing else, I would have been down 14.52%. But because I sold covered calls, I'm only down 9.49%. So let me show you how to sell covered calls on your stocks in Webull. What you want to do is you click on Options. Then pick the nearest price that you would be happy selling at. For me, I would be happy selling for $10 because while I pretty much will break even on my stock purchase, I will have made money on the sale of my calls. So right now, the next available option is April 16th, and the $10 call is selling for 35 cents. But remember that each contract is worth 100 shares. So really, the call is selling for $35. Now I have 200 shares, so I can sell two calls, and $35 times 2 is $70. so I can sell 2 calls at $35 each for a total of $70. If CLOV closes below $10 on April 16th, I get to keep the $70 that I received for selling the covered calls. And I also get to keep my shares. If CLOV closes at or above $10 on April 16th, then I'll be forced to sell my shares for $10, but I'll also keep the $70 I received for selling the covered calls. So if that happens, then you consider the fact that I'm basically breaking even on the stocks since I bought them for around $10 a share and I'm selling them for $10 a share, but I made $100 last month and $70 this month on the sale of covered calls. So I'll make $170 on my $2,000 investment, or an 8.5% profit on a stock that I sold for the same price I bought it at. And that is the power of selling covered calls. Next up is CNET. This is ZW Data Action Technologies, and they're a Bitcoin miner. StockMo included CNET in his list of top penny stocks to buy now. However, he did say that he does not personally own CNET, although he is thinking about it. He thinks a fair price on CNET would be $2.50. Next up is CPNG. This is Coupang and their South Korean e-commerce company similar to Amazon. ZipTrader said that unlike OZON, the Russian version of Amazon, and JMIA, the South African version of Amazon, CPNG, the South Korean version of Amazon, is already well developed. Now, if we look at their fundamentals, their revenues increased 90% year over year, but their operating expenses also increased 80% year over year. That means their losses are lessening and their margins are increasing, but they are still losing $475 million a year. Now, the good news is that they have $12 billion in cash on hand, so they can probably make it another 6 years before they'll have to raise more funds. They have $3.73 billion in current liabilities, compared to only $2.84 billion in current assets, which is not good at all. Financially, this company is literally worthless. So if you're going to invest in CPNG, you are betting purely upon the future growth of this company and the hopes that they don't go out of business. Because of this, ZipTrader thinks CPNG is still overvalued, and he gave a $40 buy-under price. CPNG should get well below $40 once the IPO lockup period ends, and both insiders and early investors are able to sell their shares. Next up is DIS. This is Disney, and Keen and Grace let us know that after Disney released WandaVision on Disney+, they added 8 million subscribers. Now they're releasing a new show called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier based upon the Marvel series of films. Keen and Grace thinks that will help Disney add more subscribers and increase their profits even further. And don't forget, they plan to reopen all of their parks by April 30th. We can also see that JP Morgan just gave them a price target of $220, which is actually on the low end of all of the recent price targets. And yet, it's still a 15% upside potential from Friday's closing price. Now technically, this stock is showing short-term bearishness with the RSI dropping and the MACD being bearish as well. The price also dropped below the 50-day EMA, and it looks like DIS might bounce off of the 100-day EMA just like it did back in late January. Therefore, I'm going to give you a buy-under price of $190, an ideal buying price of $185, and a stop-loss price of $180. Next up is DPW. This is Alt Global Holdings, and they're a Bitcoin miner, amongst other things. StockMo included DPW in his list of top penny stocks to buy now. StockMo did say that he is not currently invested in DPW, and it is also falling right now, so you might be trying to catch a falling knife with this one. Next up is FCEL. This is FuelCell Energy and their renewable energy company. Chris Sain showed us that FCEL is 50% off of its all-time highs, so there's the potential for this stock to double. Now technically, FCEL is at both the 100-day EMA as well as a strong level of support. So Monday may be a great buy-in price on FCEL. Next up is FINV. Smart Trader likes FINV for a short-term technical trade. The reason is because FINV formed a bull flag pattern which is very bullish. This would make a great multi-day swing trade. Next up is GEVO. This is a renewable energy company. Chris Sain included GEVO in his easy money plays for this week. Chris Sain's easy money plays means you set a stop loss at 10% below where you bought the stock at, you hold for 1 to 2 weeks, and you're looking for a 20 to 50% profit. Next up is HIMX. This is HIMX Technologies, and Smart Trader likes HIMX for a short-term technical trade. Smart traders thinking about buying a leap call option on HIMX. Now personally, I'm concerned about HIMX because the RSI and MACD are both neutral right now. The EMAs are bullish, but over the past 5 days we formed a descending triangle pattern which is bearish. So this stock could literally go either way. I would wait to trade HIMX until we get confirmation on a direction first. In the bull trade scenario, I would wait for the MACD to show a golden cross before opening a new position. A golden cross is when the gold line crosses above the blue line. We can look at the MACD histogram, that's these bars here, to see the beginnings of a bullish run, but the MACD signal, which are the gold and blue lines, is what is generally considered confirmation on a reversal play. By the way, if you are a new investor and you want to understand MACD confirmations, reversal plays, technical signs of when to buy and sell stocks, and pretty much everything else you need to know in order to become a profitable trader, then I recommend you enroll in ZipTraderU. ZipTraderU covers all of that, as well as a lot of other important things you need to know in order to trade profitably, such as how to handle your emotions so that you don't panic and sell at the bottom of a downtrend, or panic and buy at the top of an uptrend. If you are interested in learning more about ZipTraderU, I do have a link to ZipTraderU in the description of this video, as well as a special discount for viewers of this channel. Just keep in mind that if you want the discount, you need to make sure you follow both steps that I included in the description of this video. Next up is HVBTF. This is Hive Blockchain Technologies, and they're a Bitcoin and Ethereum miner. StockMo included HVBTF in his list of top penny stocks to buy now. This is falling in price right now, and StockMo is hoping HVBTF stays above $3.25 a share. Next up is MARA. This is Marathon Digital Holdings, and they're a Bitcoin miner. StockMo included MARA in his list of top penny stocks to buy now. Next up is MP. This is MP Materials, and they are the only rare earth mining company in North America. Dead Inside was correct in his prediction that MP would have good earnings. He said that while the financials are good, the real reason why MP is doing well and will continue to do well is because of the explosion in the electric vehicle market. Further, MP has started to execute their Stage 2 plan, which will make MP the lowest cost provider of rare earth materials in the world, which will help transfer sales from China to MP. The bottom line is that there are a lot of great catalysts that help MP continue to grow in the future. If you want details on all of the upcoming catalysts for MP, Dead Inside went over their conference call in detail in his video that he uploaded Friday. Next up is MVIS. This is Microvision. This company produces LiDAR and heads-up displays for autonomous driving vehicles. Keenan Grace recommends waiting to buy MVIS due to the current downward pressure from short sellers. Keenan Grace gave a buy-enter price of $15 and an ideal buying price of $14. Personally, I will give you a buy-enter price of $16.50, an ideal buying price of $13.50, and a stop-loss price of $9. Smart Trader also gave a $24 price target. Next up is NIO. This is NIO, and they're a Chinese EV manufacturer. StockMo showed how over the past 6 months, NIO has a history of dropping 20 to 30% and then continuing onward to new all-time highs. The current all-time high is $62.84, with an intraday all-time high at $66.99. Once NIO hits new all-time highs, this stock will rise 50%. Another thing to consider with NIO is the fact that Teslas are limited in China due to the cameras on their cars. People aren't allowed to drive Teslas in certain areas because of that. So NIO has a competitive advantage there. Also, it is clear that NIO is expanding into Europe and the United States. In fact, NIO has a number of job openings in California right now, and because of all of that, StockMo said NIO should easily be in the $80 range by the end of this year. Next up is NVAX. This is Novavax, and they're a pharmaceutical company. StockMo picked NVAX as his pandemic vaccine play. One of the main reasons is because the average analyst price target is $334.25, which represents a 46% upside from Friday's closing price. By the way, if you want access to tip ranks and all of these price targets and everything, there's a link to tip ranks in the description of this video. Again, it's free to sign up, so just look in the description of this video and click the link to get access to tip ranks. Next up is PLTR. This is Palantir, and they're a data analytics company. If you didn't know, a few days ago, the CEO of Palantir came out and told investors to stop worrying about the short-term price target on the stock and to focus on the long haul. He told investors that if they were only buying PLTR for a short-term trade, to please sell their shares. Despite that, PLTR once again hit the $24 support level and refused to go any lower. However, intraday, the stock consistently drops below $24. So Keen and Grace gave a buy enter price of $24 in PLTR and recommends this as a long-term hold. I agree with that. Next up is RIOT. This is Riot Blockchain and they're a Bitcoin miner. StockMo included RIOT in his list of top penny stocks to buy now. However, what's interesting in tip ranks is that the same person who rated MARA, Kevin Deedy, and gave it a $50 price target with a 16% upside, also rated RIOT and gave it a $28 price target with a 53% downside. So between RIOT and MARA, MARA is the clear winner here. Next up is RYCEY. This is Rolls-Royce, and I'm happy that Trades finally covered a stock other than AMC because he really does do some incredible DD. In a 1-hour video that Trades uploaded Saturday night, he went into tremendous detail in RYCEY's business, financials, and technicals. Here's the summary of its 1-hour video. First off, for the past 3 years, Rolls-Royce has been losing money. And last year was especially bad as their annual revenues were down 26% year over year. Trades likes RYCEY for future growth though. Rolls-Royce has long been known for its high-end vehicles and excellent jet aircraft engines. Now they are getting into electric airplanes. They hired Andreas Schell as CEO of Rolls-Royce Power Systems, and he has experience in aerospace as well as electric power systems. And the chief technology officer they hired previously worked for a competitor who was working on an electric airplane as well. So they have the leadership team needed to pull this off. Now, as far as the timeline for when RYCEY will start producing electric airplanes, they plan to start with a small sport and training plane, then move on to air taxis, then commuter aircraft such as business jets, and finally regional commercial aircraft. It's going to take many years for all of this to happen though, so this is definitely a long-term hold play. Looking at analyst rankings, insider activity, and news sentiment, unfortunately there's just not enough information on the stock to make any sort of determination from those. Now, while Trades did cover the stock in detail, he does not use tip ranks, so I want to show you what tip ranks has to say about RYCEY. Now, on the bloggers tab, I can see that the Motley Fool covers RYCEY, and they remain bullish on this stock. On the stock analysis tab, we can see that retail investors are very positive on this stock as well, with many retail investors having opened and increased positions over the past few days. And technically, the technicals are positive, with RYCEY remaining above the 20-day SMA and the 200-day SMA. This stock also has strong momentum, having increased 230% over the past 12 months. Now, on the hedge funds tab, we can see that only one hedge fund has ever owned this stock, and they sold out last year during the market crash. Now, while we don't have any analyst price targets, we can see on the analyst tab that 4 analysts have rated this stock. 10 months ago and 12 months ago, 2 analysts rated this a sell. However, more recently, 1 month ago and 5 days ago, 2 analysts rated this a hold. So analyst sentiment is increasing and analysts are getting less bearish on RYCEY. Overall, Trades thinks RYCEY would be worth buying a small position for a long-term hold. This is an OTC stock in the United States though, so you won't be able to buy RYCEY in Webull or Robinhood. You'll have to buy this one on a broker such as Fidelity or TD Ameritrade if you want to buy RYCEY. If you are in another country outside of the United States, you can trade this under a number of other ticker symbols, with the main one being in the United Kingdom, where Rolls-Royce trades on the GBX under ticker symbol RR. Next up is SOS, and this is SOS Limited. They're a Bitcoin miner, and StockMo included SOS in his list of top penny stocks to buy now. Now, one thing I do personally like about SOS is the fact that it has formed a new momentum trend line. This is quite bullish. The RSI and MACD do remain flat though, so if you want to trade SOS, I would recommend you stay away from options contracts unless you are selling them, and instead just buy the stock. The one thing with options you might want to consider doing is selling a cash secured put so that you can buy the shares for a lower overall price point. Next up is SQ. This is Square, and Keen and Grace said SQ is in a buy zone right now. It's right at the 100-day EMA, so that could be a level of support for SQ. My concern is that the MACD is quite bearish right now, so I don't have a lot of confidence in SQ. Assuming that it drops below the 100-day EMA, I will give you a buy-enter price of $210 and an ideal buy-in price of $200. I will also give you a stop-loss price of $180. On the other hand, if we see SQ rebound off of the 100-day EMA and go up on Monday, then I would just buy it, because we're probably already at the bottom. Either way, this is a long-term hold with a $280 price target. Next up is TSLA. This is Tesla, and they're an American EV manufacturer. Stock Mode reminded everyone to focus on the long term, more specifically the next 3 to 5 years. Don't worry about the day-to-day or even the month-to-month price fluctuations on your long-term stocks. Why? Well, as Richard Allen, Stockmo, Keenan Grace, Larry Jones, and the Traveling Trader all let us know, ARK Invest expected price target for TSLA by the end of 2025 is $3,000. Now, ARK Invest actually gave a range of between $1,500 and $4,000, which means that if you buy TSLA today and just forget about it for the next 4 years, your investment could be worth between 2 times and 6 times what you pay for TSLA today. Now, Stockmo did an incredible analysis of ARK Invest's report and price targets on TSLA. So if you're thinking about TSLA for a long-term investment, I strongly recommend you watch Stockmo's video that he uploaded Saturday evening. And if you want to know how to trade TSLA, I recommend you watch both Larry Jones' video that he uploaded Saturday and the Traveling Trader's video that he uploaded Saturday. Also, Keenan Grace reminded us that TSLA made more money from their Bitcoin investment than they did from their car sales. And that was back when Bitcoin was at $55,000. Right now it's trading at around $57,000. Why is that important? Well, as the Traveling Trader pointed out, ARK Invest price targets do not include Tesla's solar roofing business or their Bitcoin purchases. So if TSLA makes a significant return on Bitcoin, that could help TSLA easily reach ARK Invest price targets. Next up is UAVS. This is Ag Eagle Aerial Systems. Keenan Grace mentioned UAVS because they have a lawsuit pending against them right now. Now that rarely means anything with stocks, as most security law firms are just ambulance chasers who throw 100 darts and hope one sticks. UAVS remains above the 100-day EMA and the MACD is bullish, so this might be a good opportunity to buy UAVS. Just keep in mind that volume and price movement are both quite low, so I do not recommend playing options on UAVS unless you are selling them. Next up is V. This is Visa, and ZipTrader mentioned V as a recovery play. V dropped 6% on Friday on news that the Department of Justice is investigating Visa's debit card practices. Visa, of course, responded saying they are in compliance with all applicable laws. Keep in mind that this is just an investigation, and that the investigation will probably take years to complete. Even if Visa is fined, in my experience, those fines are small and will not harm Visa that much. Visa has long been considered a benefactor of the pandemic reopening as people get out and start buying things. For those reasons, ZipTrader sees this as a discount on V and gave a $200 buy-under price. However, I do see the 200-day EMA at $203.15, which will act as a level of support. I do think V will be volatile in the short term, so just be patient and wait for V to show clear signs of bottoming before buying in. Next up is VWAGY. This is Volkswagen, and Keenan Grace gave us an update on VWAGY on Sunday. He let us know that they had to shut down their production in Brazil for 12 days due to the pandemic. So the price has really come down. Because of that, we have a chance to buy VWAGY on a discount. So Keenan Grace gave a buy-in price of $32 and an ideal buy-in price of $30. I agree with those prices. I will also add a stop-loss price of $28. Next up is ZOM. This is Zomedica and they're a pharmaceutical company. Chris Zane recommended that everyone sell ZOM once it hits $2.30. Keenan Grace reminded everyone that he has a buy-under price of $2 with an ideal buy-in price of $1.90. Finally, we have ZYNE. This is Zynerba Pharmaceutical and their pharmaceutical company. Chris Zane included ZYNE in his list of easy money plays, and Keenan Grace also mentioned ZYNE as being a buy right now. If you want to know more about ZYNE, please go watch my stock picks for Monday and stock picks for Tuesday videos that I uploaded this past week. By the way, if you want to see what YouTubers have said about your favorite stock picks, just go to the YouTube search and type in Stock Curry followed by the ticker symbol. For example, for this stock, you would type in Stock Curry ZYNE. That will show you all of the videos where I discussed a particular stock, and you can watch those videos to find out what the top 10 YouTubers had to say about those stocks. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. Comment down below what your favorite stock pick is. And if you want to get some free stocks, sign up for Webull or Zofi using my links in the description below. When you sign up for Webull, you're going to get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850 when you deposit $100. And if you transfer your stocks into Webull, you're going to get additionally up to 25 free stocks worth up to $40,000. Again, that promotion ends this week, and it does take a couple of days to get your account set up and the transfer started, so make sure you do that now. Use my link in the description below to get started. Finally, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon if you haven't already. I hope you have a lot of success trading, and I will see you tomorrow.